I am your overlord of the pop culture corner, sent here into the future or the past to save Star Wars from... Oh, man, I don't know how he does that. It's really hot in that thing. And it pokes your eyes. Why does it do that? I hope his mask's better. Woo! All right, welcome to the Pop Culture Corner, folks. Today, I know we weren't really going to do anything, but, you know, I've been thinking. I saw Enosh was doing his 2 cents of nonsense. Then I saw, of course, Jarbo had talked about it as well, because that's what Jarbo does. But, you know, I'm not really one for the hanger and the hate speech and the whatever, but this one really like got me laughing. So I figured we could watch it together. I'm going to be on Saggy Melons' stream. Today I went to I'm sitting right in front of it. Fan Expo, as you can see here. That is a signed Ray Fisher picture. I'm sitting right in front of it too. That sucks. But yeah, I met Ray Fisher today, and we talked. Hopefully, maybe get him on the show one day in the future. Hopefully, he said he's detoxing from the internet right now, but hopefully get him on in the future. Most likely. But with that being said, guys, make sure to like this video, share it on social media, or don't. This one's gonna be weird. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on social media. All the links are in the description below. We do it for you. We do it for the culture. Today we're gonna look at DOOMCOCK, whatever his name is. I don't really know. We're gonna take a look at his little stream that he did last night, because he finally admits that Kathleen Kennedy is not being fired. But he puts his own little spin on it, right? So he can come out smelling rosy still. I don't know how he does it, you know, with the subtle anti-Semitisms and the subtle I'm a Nazi kind of stuff that he does. You know, he always finds a way to make it seem like he is not wrong and he's never been wrong. And then he gets his clan together with him, and they all talk to magic balls and mirrors and stuff like that. And it's quite the act. I'll give him that. He's put on quite the act. So let's take a look at some... Oh, God. I can't even take it seriously, dude. I don't know how this view. So hold on. He literally has 31,000 views on. So there's 30,000 people from last night to tonight that literally watch his stuff right away. And Jarbo's one of them, of course. Because Jarbo just needs to be in it, right? So, and this one made sense, but there's 30,000 people, 31,000 people that watch this guy's content, take it seriously for the most part. And I just find that to be, you know, just absolutely crazy. So let's take a look at DOOMCOCK admitting that Kathleen Kennedy is not, in fact, not being fired, but instead her contract is being extended.
Friends, I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. I want everybody to put on your helmets, metaphorically.
You got yours
Nick,
on.
I'm really glad you could join us today. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, doing good. Just got done doing some work stuff. I work from 3 in the afternoon till midnight. So
oh my God.
Yeah,
at least one of you does.
I'm pretty much just hanging out here, working and chatting up with you guys. So
what's up, guys?
Glad to be here.
Well, everybody poured yourself a drink if you're going to need one. I have put on my helmet, not just because I'm making a fashion statement, but because I have a rumor here, and it is a very bad rumor. So I didn't want to say anything and ruin the festivities until such a time as it was
I really
necessary.
still take it seriously.
We will have maybe trivia after this, but this is something I found out literally like about 20 minutes before this live stream. And,
oh, God.
You know, I would not say anything during Friday Night Frolics.
What? Friday night
and
what?
be the bearer of bad news, but I think it's better that you hear it from me.
We should do that. Friday night
Frolics. This is, of course, just a rumor, but it's coming from a very credible source, a source that I respect And so I cannot testify to the truth of it, but since it is coming from this individual, I tend to give it credence.
individual.
This source is a WDW Pro.
Hey, what is
Is
that?
well known.
What is he?
In
maybe
the
Caiden knows.
community.
What
I
is
think
a
he is a straight.
What is a WDW Pro? I've never heard of that. Maybe if anyone knows, let me know.
I don't know what that is either.
No, you don't know what that is?
No.
I have no idea what he's talking about there.
He said a bunch of stuff that I don't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
I
I
like-
mean, he talks to Magic 8 Balls, so chances are
he
something's
talks to
gonna
Black
be.
Mirrors and
Yeah.
capes,
Yeah.
and he talks to a mask and a
There's a
voice
funny-
modulator.
There's a funny
So-
part that happens a little bit later where he says, "Eternals, it looks like kids in Halloween costumes." And I'm like, dude, you literally dress up
You dress
and go
up
on
as-
YouTube. Like, you cannot say anything to anybody. Oh man, he's
You
classic.
have a voice modulator hiding
Yeah.
behind a mask
Oh,
and hiding
God.
behind a fake thing.
Yeah, a whole
Like
persona.
your whole life is fake.
Yes. Yeah. And he makes money from it. And it's crazy. This guy in the bottom, the guy at the bottom, Cameron Pasha, he aggravates me the most out of all of them.
I looked him up. He's like an ex-executive producer on like small like indie TV and
Yeah.
Indian like stuff.
He said he got blacklisted in the industry. That's what he's admitted, right? So he's admitted that he's been blacklisted. So why? Like, why should I trust anything you say? Dude, you've been blacklisted from Hollywood because you're a scumbag.
Oh, he still works for CW.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into his scumbagginess.
Shooter. I think he's a real guy.
He thinks he's a real guy.
He's a good guy, and he's a friend of mine. He's become a friend, and we correspond. And he sent me this email. Kennedy contract renewed.
Oh, God.
The
world is
says to me, "I'll be running an article tomorrow, but you're free to run with this as soon as you might like. Sources tell me that Kennedy's terms have been agreed to, and she is being renewed for 1 to 2 years. Apparently,
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Official announcement in late September to mid-October. I'm told it would take a Deus."
Hold on, let's run it back a little bit. I just want to see Cameron reassure Doomcock that it's okay one more time.
Apparently finished.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. We've only been saying it for 3-4 years that she's getting fired. It's fine.
It's fine.
This
And Brie
fucking
Larson's
clown.
taking over.
Negotiations
What is it?
I said Brie Larson's taking over as well.
Yeah.
this week. Expect official announcement in late September to mid-October. I'm told it would take a Deus Ex Machina sort of moment to reverse course at this point. Not the news I'd like to hear, but not surprising. Lucasfilm will continue to be a mostly dormant studio until she's gone and can be removed amicably. Now, this article is going to appear over at thatparkplace.com. That is WD.
All right. So, real quick, I just want to preface something right here. So, when they start getting, there's something that they do on this channel a lot. So, they relate everything back to military operations or some sort of militant phrase, right? Like invasion, war, civil war, this, that, yada, yada. Everything is related back to some masculine war, really
thinking that the men are in trouble. Oh my God.
Yeah. So they relate a lot of things to like that kind of stuff. And you'll see them.
I also looked up the terms of her current contract. Her current contract ends October 30th, and that's when you'll hear an announcement of it being renewed around the late October, not mid-October, this September. No.
Yeah.
You usually hear the renewal near the end of the current contract.
Yeah, he like I said, he just spins everything so that he'll still come out rosy, and he won't look like an idiot to his followers.
So for now, we don't know the the current status of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. For all we know, she could be becoming George Lucas himself. She's morphing
Right.
into George Lucas as we currently
Right.
speak.
And
So-
then George Lucas is morphing into Brie Larson.
Yep. It's all just one big circle.
It's
That's
one
what they
big
do.
circle.
Yep. So let's get
Triangle,
back into it
actually.
again.
W Pro's new home. I replied to him and just told him, well, this is just awful news. I think this is the end for Star Wars. And
This is the
he
Wait.
replied,
He says something
it
that
definitely pauses any good
he says something in a few minutes, and I want to clip it. So I want to. He says something about rotting his ass, and I
changes.
found it to be the most.
I had a
funny
feeling
thing.
they wouldn't drop her during indie production. She would have raged publicly. But I can tell you this, I am not a happy camper
Right here.
now. And I wanted to go ahead. And misery loves company. And I have some of the best company here for this particular misery. And I wanted to go ahead and just go around the table and see what you guys think of this. Now, I had queried sources,
on Reddit. That's where he queried them.
in my
4chan.
videos,
That's
I had
right.
talked about this possibility. I had said heretofore, I had no confirmation of this whatsoever. None of my sources had said this,
Except
other than Mike Sutton, God bless him, who's not one of my sources. So, but he's the guy that started this rumor. And WDW
not a
Pro
rumor,
is
though.
a solid guy. He really is. And I tend to trust him.
For now, it is.
So this is a world of suck. And I want to go ahead and we've got
How
Orville
does that make
Nation here
sense?
joining us. Hail, PJ.
Hey, DOOMCOCK.
Thank you
Do they say
for
hey
popping
every
in.
time someone
It's
comes
yeah,
on?
Yeah.
Shit on a sick, gentlemen. I want to go ahead and let's start out with my dear friend Cameron Pashaw.
this should be
who,
enlightening.
is a sage and a
What?
friend.
He's a what?
And I love the guy. Cameron, what do you think about
What did he
this?
call him?
Well,
a
thank
what?
you for those kind words,
A sage.
DOOMCOCK, and the feeling is very much mutual. We are also on a very interesting spiritual journey that's very parallel. So it's good to be on your channel always. Look,
A spiritual journey together.
obviously none of us really want her there. Certainly I don't. But I've been saying this since the Mikey Sutton rumors came out in the last few days that if this were to happen, it would be, in my opinion, part of a bigger strategic situation that Bob Chapek is
look.
in. I think, personally, and I fully respect what you're saying, that you're not going to be involved with Star Wars when she's around. Personally, I think
Hold
that
on.
the 1 to 2 year contract makes sense.
So he said that they're not going to be in Star Wars. They're not going to be involved with Star Wars until she's gone. Yet for the past 3 years, I went through his whole channel now. For the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, he's been saying the same thing. While she's been involved with Star Wars,
Yeah.
he's been saying that
Since
she's going to get
she
fired.
became president
Yeah,
in
he's
2018.
been saying that she's going to get fired since the day that she became whatever.
It's like she's going to get fired tomorrow.
And
She
and
just
now
got signed
that
on,
her
but-
contract's renewed, he says that he's not going to do any more Kathleen Kennedy videos. So let's see how long that lasts after the day that her renewal.
Tomorrow
is
there's a
announced.
Kathleen Kennedy video.
I'm
saying
sure
that
there will
Kathleen-
be. There'll be
That's really
3.
the sense of the couple of things that Chapek has said. Chapek has said that he wants to limit the studio heads to short-term contracts. She had long-term contracts. So 1 to 2 years, that's a short-term contract. And we're probably looking at closer to 1 year, right?
18
or maybe
months.
18 months.
Oh, wow.
The other thing
He
is
act-
Chapek is
wait,
facing a
he
much
didn't just
bigger
say 18
war than
months.
Lucasfilm. I am
Yeah,
of the
he did.
opinion, based on what I've been hearing and just my vibe of the situation, that she's
The
essentially
vibe
been neutered,
that I'm getting
and she's
from
going to be a
everything.
figurehead
saying
there.
that she
She'll
only
be
has
allowed to
18
play
months.
around a little bit with Indiana
what she's
Jones or
saying.
whatever, but she's out of Star Wars. And so
She's been neutered. like
right
a
now,
cat.
Bob Chapek is facing a bigger problem. He's facing a direct frontal attack
Oh,
by
Mike.
Kevin Feige, who is
Here
using
we
famous
go.
actors to try to humiliate him, like Scarlett Johansson. And
There's a
this is the
war.
last thing he can deal with, is having her being a troublemaker. So,
Dude,
you
I
know,
hate Kathleen
if
Kennedy.
you think
Kevin
about from a
Feige.
purely strategic
I love
military
They don't
standpoint,
like Kevin Feige.
he's
either.
basically defeated one
my
feudal
God.
lord who could still be a troublemaker. So he's making a treaty with a feudal lord so to get basically get out of the
Do you
situation.
hear how he's talking? Though?
Don't be
He's talking about treaties and feudal lords, in the sense that we're talking about Disney and Lucasfilm. Like how?
He's acting like Disney is like
Look at
this
his
big
eyes
country.
right now. He's probably on so much meth that he can't even figure out what's up and down.
He's acting like Disney's like this big country, and like Lucasfilm and Marvel Studios, they're like these like little states in them,
Yeah,
and like
that's
the
everything,
mayors
everything.
of those states are like
Everything
trying
to
to
them is all military. Like they related everything to military operations.
Doesn't he like later say that Kathleen Kennedy is basically a suicide bomber?
I have not heard that said, so I cannot confirm that.
I think
I wouldn't doubt it.
Jarbo was talking about that like last night.
Oh, well, maybe they do.
Be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you off. You don't get involved in the bigger problem I have with this guy who's coming for my throne, right? And who's bringing up his guns.
Coming for my throne.
Go along with it. I mean, when you say it's her terms, I think it's their terms. I think she's going to be quiet, going to collect her paycheck. I think she's going to leave Jon Favreau alone. And I think, she'll do whatever
That's
she's
my
doing
take.
with Indiana Jones. God knows what that is.
That's my take.
And I think
If
that's
you
what
watch
he
The
needs right
Making of
now.
Mandalorian,
Because
Kathleen,
if she explodes,
Dave, and John,
then he's got
and George
a
are like
two-front
buddy
war.
buddies.
Right.
Going to potentially get him fired from the company. We can't deal with that. That's my view.
That's my view.
That's true.
He said it. He said
even
it.
Sutton's
Ladies and
rumor,
gentlemen, he said it.
everything I've heard is that absolutely this does not change the fact that the Lucasfilm Civil War is over.
Oh God.
That
I really can't take it
not
fucking
Feige,
seriously.
Favreau, Filoni, and if this other report was correct, George Lucas is getting into the act. They are over
What?
Star Wars. I mean, they rule Star Wars essentially, and Kathleen Kennedy has nothing to do with Star Wars moving forward. But it still rots my ass. And, I understand. I am sympathetic
Oh my God.
to Bob
Hold
Chapek.
on.
I understand.
Hold on. What does it do to you,
And,
DOOMCOCK?
I understand. I am sympathetic
What
to
does
Bob
it do?
Chapek. I understand. Feige is acting like an idiot. And I tell you what,
Did I
he's
miss it?
he's like packing a weapon.
Did I miss him say it again?
Nothing to do with Star Wars moving forward, but it still rots my ass. And, I understand. I am
What does
sympathetic
that even mean?
to Bob Chapek. I
doesn't mean
understand.
anything.
Feige is acting like an idiot, and I tell you what, he's like packing a weapon that's firing blanks now. Look at Shang-Chi, for God's sakes. $8 million. $8 million? Are you kidding me? That is horrible.
Nobody has brought this up. I promise you, part of that $8 million was the previews that they sold in limited theaters. Two
This
weeks
just
ago?
makes me
They
die.
probably lumped
It
that
just
into that figure.
kills
The
me.
spin on Shang-Chi is out in full force, but
Mikey's like,
that's
oh,
another
man, what should I
conversation.
say?
Oh yeah,
Go
Mikey.
ahead.
So Mikey, the thing about Mikey,
No, that's
right?
fine, Valley Renegade. But
Hold
look,
on,
and then
let
I
me-
hear that the
Let me pause the nonsense real quick. So the thing about it is, you hear him claim 2 weeks ago, whatever, a week ago, that Mikey Sutton is a social justice warrior, and anything he says cannot be taken at face value, whatever, yada yada yada. Now, 1 week later, or 2 weeks later, I can't remember exactly how much time it is. Now, Mikey was right, but here's why he's also wrong, right? So that's how they spin everything, so that they can make, like, yeah, God bless Mike Sutton. When he said that, when I first watched it, I picked up and left out of the room. I couldn't even take it seriously. I was just like, this is unreal. Like, he just paints everything in this light where he's never wrong. And it's all about his sources that he gets on Reddit, yada, 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 this and that. And then he shits
Right.
all over Marvel or
Yeah, and
Lucasfilm.
then, like I was looking up, I was like, let me see Shang-Chi's box office right now. And it's 85. Yeah, 85
Yeah,
million
I don't know
right
what
now.
he's referring to when he
So
when
8
he
million.
spoke about 8 million. I to
And
be honest,
then
I don't
Valiant was
know.
like, oh, it's just the pre-sales or previews or whatever. I'm like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
the pre-sales tend to be around the millions, like when it's
Yeah.
a movie like that.
Well, oh, he's talking about pre-sales,
Yeah,
like before the movie comes out. How many people bought tickets?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, a lot of people aren't doing
Yeah.
that right now. They're just winging
Yeah.
it.
Eternals is going to be even worse.
Ready?
The Eternals don't look like shit.
Wait.
The Eternals, I don't know what they look like. They look like some kind of, I don't know. It looks like the cast of Friends on Halloween or something.
Dude, you literally dress up on YouTube. How can you say anyone looks like they're going to a Halloween? Whatever. Dude, you literally change your voice and dress up on YouTube, you fucking clown.
He,
To say
like I said
anybody.
before this show happened, it was like he looks like one of the Planet of the Apes from like the 80s films, like with like but with a voice modulator. He's
Dude,
the one that is in Halloween costume.
He literally dresses up, pretends he's an overlord from the future sent here to talk and save pop culture. And he has the audacity.
If he's from the future,
All right.
wouldn't he know all this stuff?
It's not the point, right?
I know, but I'm just
Not
saying,
the
like,
point. But he is the one, he claims that he's from the future and he's from the center of the earth. Yet he calls Eternals friends dressed up for Halloween. I literally can't take him seriously as a human being, nor as a YouTuber or someone who talks about pop culture from the future.
Something. I mean, I don't know.
They do look like shit.
The Eternals with
They do. I mean, it's like a joke. At least,
It's like
at
a
least Shang-Chi
joke,
looks
dude.
good.
It's like a joke.
Feige spent more time discussing the representation of the Eternals than Shang-Chi even a few months ago. They're saying that was one of the first Marvel Phase 4 properties they wanted to get to because of the diversity and representation they could inject in it. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but not by much.
Right.
So, real quickly to one of the things that Cameron said, I agree with every point he made about this Kennedy contract.
Yeah.
He and I have had these conversations. DC, you and I have had these conversations. I will add to this one other thing. What it also suggests to me, if everybody thinks back
We can skip
a month or two ago, is that, running for another year, Star Wars is concerned.
It's got to let her fade away, keeping her face and dignity and her legacy and her awards.
10 minutes left. No!
Oh,
100% pregnant.
because this is the time when he's saying
Now
that
people,
Kathleen
you know,
Kennedy
on
is the
Twitter and
suicide
YouTube
bomber.
cheering her downfall. That's the last thing, because that will trigger her to go on to releasing the tapes and all the years of sexual harassment and stuff that I saw at Disney. You just don't want her doing those interviews, man. Just let her fade away like MacArthur into the.
Oh,
into
here
the
we go.
sunset.
Back to military stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
Chapek obviously
I
thought this
General
was cheaper.
MacArthur.
Chapek thought this was a
Yeah.
cheaper option.
I think it's terrible. Nick, Echo Base Network. What do you think of all this this rumor from WDW Pro that Kennedy's contract has been renewed?
First off, definitely not happy about it.
Wait a second, is that Max?
Nobody wants her there.
That
You
sounds like
know,
Max.
Nobody.
But the thing is, I
Nick
think
from Echo Base Network.
Max, are you secretly Nick Echo Base Network? Because that sounds like you.
more so than
Doesn't
than
it?
Kathy, Disney, I think is
She got
more of
It
a
definitely
problem
does.
than Kathleen Kennedy is.
For a
at
second, I
this
really thought
point.
Max
I mean,
was
if you
on-
watch the last
Max was
gallery
on,
episode, the Luke episode, she wasn't even in it
Doomcock.
once.
Doomcock.
They showed her one time
Right.
from the second episode of the season. You know, but she basically had no part in that episode at all.
Stock
Of
footage,
course,
Nick.
Yeah, exactly.
Stock footage.
Max.
And then, of course, you know, Jon Favreau had to play nice and kind of give her credit and her due there, whether he agrees with it or not, you know. But I really haven't seen her much involved in Star Wars, which is, you know, I'm happy with that. And the thing is, whether she's there or not, I just want Star Wars to be good. So if they stick her in a corner and have her name on the Studio Oni universe,
Walter with porgs yelling shame. Walter with porgs yelling shame. And March Kennedy through the streets of Disneyland.
Right.
And Pelter with porgs yelling shame.
I
Shame.
would love it.
Shame.
I would go down there and
Oh,
partake
God.
in every bit of it.
That would
We
be
could
an
sell a lot of
insult.
porgs that way.
That would be
Yeah.
an insult to porgs.
Hold on.
I know.
So they want, basically what they want is for Kathleen Kennedy to be dragged through some Disney park or whatever so that they can throw porgs at her and yell shame. Really
Basically,
weird.
what they did to the Hunchback
Really-
of Notre
Yeah.
Dame.
And homegirl Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Right.
This is really weird. I'm pretty sure they don't believe that women are a real thing.
Yeah, they think
Oh,
that.
the porgs would probably turn into fucking smoke when they, touched her skin like, a vampire in church. Let's start smoking. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just like, look at the situation Disney is in.
Yeah,
Look,
see, even he
they
doesn't
are
know what
remaking
WWD
The
Pro
Rocketeer.
is.
They are remaking Snow White. They
Exactly.
are remaking The Little Mermaid. They've got Shang-Chi and they've got the Eternals, which are like ticking. Well, shit, they're like is there a way that a dud can still explode? I don't know.
So Mikey asked a good question. What is WDW Pro? I asked at the beginning. I have no idea what it is, or who it is, or what entity it is.
I looked up WWD Pro, and
but it's
the first thing that pops up
WDW.
was Woman's Wear's Daily brings you breaking news.
Oh God. Oh God. Please
It's
tell
just,
me it is.
it's
tell
like
me please tell me it isn't so.
it's like this weird woman. Yeah, it's this weird woman's wear thing, and it's like I don't even know what
All
it
right.
is.
Confirmed. Doomcock gets his pop culture news from Women's Wear Daily. Interesting. It makes a lot more sense now if you think about it.
But it's an utter failure. And now we've got Indy 5 is a complete shit show from what I've heard. I mean, it's really messed up. And now we've got Kennedy
Now,
like
where
a
did they get that
vampire
information?
rising from the grave and returning to the halls of Lucasfilm. PJ,
Where did they get that information that
what do you
Indiana
make of
Jones
this,
5
Orville Nation?
is a shit show?
Well, I mean, you and I have talked
From
about
the
this before.
WWD Pro.
The women's wear
what Cameron's
place,
saying
right.
makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. There's a whole spectrum of her creative role is going to be left to a minimal, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. She's not going to have a creative role on Star Wars. I mean, we acknowledge that, but this, I don't know. This feels like, somebody adding insult to injury. It just, I understand it's a strategic decision. I understand that he's trying to have her gracefully fade away. I think that absolutely makes sense. But Jesus, I don't know, man. I don't know.
So to Benson's point below, Caiden, can you name how many times I brought Doomcock on here? And you can include
Once.
today. Once. This is it. And this is just because he admitted finally that he was wrong. So to Benson's
But then
point,
tomorrow he'll say, oh yeah, Kathleen Kennedy's finally gone.
yeah, she's actually fired tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doomcock, if I may, I would like to give a historical example that comes out of one of my novels.
Yes,
that, my novel on the birth of Islam.
I love when
Mother of the
Cameron gives
So there's a
historical.
very
He's like,
incident in the history of that
Birth
culture
of Islam.
where Muhammad is actually facing his biggest enemies, who are the warlords of Mecca, right?
Oh, here we go.
He reaches a moment where basically he's poised to defeat them. And at that moment, to his followers' surprise, he makes a peace treaty with his biggest adversary, essentially the ruler of Mecca, the big warlord, and gives the guy everything he wants at the moment when he could just take the city and defeat all of them. And he actually makes this one-sided peace treaty that gives the other guys everything they want. And his followers were shocked and upset and angry. And people started questioning, are you even on a spiritual mission? Are you working with the other side? What's happening here? He said, trust me. Because what was happening is he saw the bigger field, which was Mecca was falling apart. It had basically, it was done. Its time had ended. It had been defeated essentially by this new movement. And the bigger problem was that the Muslims were going to get in conflict with the Byzantine Empire, right? Which is, Constantinople was like, what the hell's happening in Arabia? Maybe we need to go in there and take that place over before that becomes like a unified state under this new guy. And so he was like, the bigger problem is Constantinople. They're coming, right? And within basically 2 years, the Meccan warlords in the peace treaty ended up defeating themselves. And they just, they ended up breaking the treaty, and Muhammad was able to, as part of the treaty, just take the city peacefully. And then all of his adversaries, he incorporated into the new system. He incorporated them, pardoned them all, and then it's like, we need you guys to face the Byzantines. And the son of his biggest enemy ended up becoming the general that
Like, what is he
defeated the
talking
Byzantines,
about
pushed
right
them
now?
back,
Why?
essentially,
saying, like,
helped
Why
take over
is
the
he
Middle
bringing
East,
this up?
and then was
What is
at
he
the
trying
gates
to-
of
What is he
Constantinople?
trying to say?
Right, literally brought and so he knew
he trying to
exactly
just flex on them, saying,
chess
I know
that he
history?
was dealing with, that the average person
Basically.
didn't. I use that historical example. It's a bigger example, but it's practical in the sense that we are emotionally invested. We've been facing an adversary that has worn us down for a decade, which is exactly what they were facing. They had these adversaries that
Everything's
were
gotta
bearing
be
them down
militant.
and had been killing them for a decade. And
I didn't
then
know
Kathleen
4
Kennedy's
they
years
didn't
was
see
only
that the
been there
world
for
I didn't know
4
changed
4
in that
years
decade,
was a decade.
and that this adversary is not the adversary you're going to need to worry about. There's something much bigger. And so Chapek is looking at a much bigger situation because you said it. It's Feige is only part of the problem. The bigger problem is Disney
This guy needs
itself.
to
And this
discharge
week when we
his
saw all
saliva
the really heartbreaking
talks.
news come out about Frank Oz, which I believe
all I
is
can hear.
His computer's like,
instigated. The Frank
Just
Oz
covered
article that
with
came out of
spit.
nowhere
Spit.
saying that I've been
Yeah.
pushed out of Disney. I can't do the Muppets,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
Under
sorry,
the old
Cameron,
regime of
aren't
Iger.
you pushed out of Disney?
What is being highlighted
Yeah.
is that Disney itself is a cesspool
Disney.
of
So he has
anti-consumer,
a bias
audience,
against Disney.
anti-customer idiots who have been running that place
Yeah.
for a decade. And so Feige is just one problem. The problem is you're
He
dealing
has a
with the
bias
Byzantine
against Disney.
Empire. So,
It shows.
the last thing he needs to think about, Kathleen Kennedy's a finished story. She's Mecca at its downfall. Forget about her.
Oh my
That she's old
God.
news. That's one I will give you as sort of an emotional thing,
I think
because understand these emotions are real, but she really is old news. There's a bigger problem that's being brought to light.
This was an issue of there had to be somebody there. I think the go-to guy, and I don't think this is very hard for anybody with
Poindexter
two
Lounge
nickels of
enlightened
sense
me.
to rub together.
Today I saw him. Poindexter was talking about this. I shouldn't have eaten that. 1 second.
The guy they would have wanted to run that shop would have been Favreau. There's no question.
Right.
He didn't want to make big. We're not going to, like we've since then has been
This guy seems to have a little bit of
But-
common sense.
possibly do what would
Let's
I
move on from the common
movie
sense.
at the box office, or so
He seems to talk
Tickets
forever,
being
though.
bought up, and
There's
I was like,
Cameron.
there's nobody in the theater. There's nobody in the theater. So who bought up all these tickets, right? And so, but that's still not enough. That's still not enough to solve this problem.
Well, that's why Disney tried.
No,
to
and
win
Cameron,
the
I
contract.
understand that they did that on Captain
he
Marvel
wrote
as
2
well.
episodes for a
That's
Disney
why Disney
I mean,
wants
that's
to
what I
sign
heard.
contracts for
And like 2 episodes in 2012.
85%
Yeah.
of the opening weekend box
Interesting.
office. They can pump money, and if Disney spends an extra $10 million to get the numbers they want, well, they're going to get 8.
Dude, I always pause it at the perfect Cameron moment. I'm gonna clip that one again right there. Shift Control 3. There's a beautiful picture. Cameron, I know, has been blacklisted of some sort from Disney or from like Hollywood in general. You said he still works for the CW.
Yeah, he was a writer on their current Roswell, Mexico show. I think that was like
I
the
feel terrible
first
for that
season.
show.
It was
That
like for the
show-
first season. So
It
and then
must
it's
be
like
a
and they're like the
god-awful
3rd
show.
season. It's like this
Um,
weird show that they tried to like do like weird aliens and the. Oh, he wrote 1 episode 2 seasons ago. So yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
So
But I saw Poindexter Lounge was doing his 2 cents on nonsense about this video, and like I was listening through the Doomcock episode, and it just had me laughing so much and so many different times. The only thing that would have been better about this stream, their stream, was if the witch guy was there. That would have been the only thing to make this better. Would be if the guy that consults the Black Mirror was there. Like truly, that guy is very special. So, I mean, there's a lot
$8
going
million
on.
of it back. That's why.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a violation of SEC rules, because they won't be reporting that money. They're going to essentially be putting that money in and claiming it's marketing budget that went to buying those fake seats, right? And as some of you may know, the SEC has been looking into Disney because a whistleblower in other parts
But
of the country came out about.
did he just say that they use
saying
marketing money to
other
buy
parts, other areas,
seats
they're doing
and
a lot of
theaters?
shady accounting, and
Yeah.
so I'm sure
Among
under
other things.
Chapek, they're probably trying to pull back some of the shadier accounting stuff because they don't want the SEC looking at that, because that's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, it is. And okay, so basically we ought to shift away, and we're going to get to trivia here in just a sec, but
DOOMCOCK,
let's go around yeah, go ahead.
can I just say one thing? And I've been wanting to say this for
Please.
a while. You took some crap for all the Kathleen Kennedy stuff that you've said. I want to say that you're not wrong.
Yes, he is.
And yes, you've been optimistic in projecting that that hopefully she's out soon.
Well,
But
hoping.
Yeah, I know.
say that you're not wrong. It's just that
Yes, he is
it's always
wrong.
been a very fluid situation.
He's
been
very
wrong.
wrong.
She has enough
He is.
power to say, you know what, just let me stay on for a little bit, and and in an honorary role. So
That's not what's happening.
It's all a very fluid situation, and to any retractors.
Look, they're
of
all
Doomcock,
literally just stroking
I
his
would say,
Doomcock.
throughout
Literally.
the
the
you're wrong.
stream.
So I just wanted to say that in your behalf.
Here, here.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, PJ. Yeah, you go back and look at those videos. I was correct, or at least my sources were correct. I think we all agree that Kathleen Kennedy is not in control of Star Wars anymore. She cannot impact it, and so Filoni and Favreau did win this Lucasfilm Civil War, as we've been saying all along. But the question is, does it stick in our craw? I guess I'd like to go around in a circle here real quick and just ask the larger question: is Disney
It's funny how
completely screwed at this point?
Clobbering
Times, what do you think?
At all.
They are screwed because,
Add
as the point
emotion
that
and
you've
ethos.
made is absolutely perfect. That Star Wars, as bad of a shape as it is, few things have at least pleased fans of late
I do have
recently
to
over the
get
past
on
year.
to
So look what their
Saggy's
Marvel
show.
Division, which
But
is
I'm
what
gonna-
had been
'cause
there,
they get the trivia, like,
pathetic.
right around
And,
here.
and
I just
yeah,
want to hear what
And
Cameron
have to
says
sell
the last time.
But I just think seeing the gonna go pay to go watch stuff, and ever since the last
Just his face. Nothing.
overall
He's like falling asleep. He's tiring.
Well, okay. So
Look at his smile.
I mean,
Oh,
Disney Plus is
his
still
one
mom's
behind
a
walking around the
profitable
back.
source for them, even though it's the quarter we just had a few. Where they're going to have the broad audience, where it's
All right,
last
this dude needs to shut.
that
the
is going
fuck
to
up.
replace that is broad.
All he does
There's
is
not
talk.
enough time for
opposed
trivia.
to them
There's
over
like
his
5 minutes for trivia.
why we saw Chapek talking about going back to a more distribution focused model about the High Republic. They contracted that story
Jesus.
shit, or this is inherited shit. It's gonna.
This guy just
And that's-
talks for 35
More
minutes.
and
yeah.
more alienated and disaffected from this garbage. I mean, aren't they going to start looking at Disney movies as kind of suck? And isn't that going to kind of stick with them over the years?
So now you're Bob Chapek, knowing everything that first of all, Valiant Renegade is
God.
correct, and I believe a lot of these things people are upset about, like Rocketeer, are things that have been in development for a while and they've just been announced.
Right.
We
now.
kind of
And
skipped over that.
Please
but
understand that Bob Chapek
there is something
hasn't
there.
really been CEO.
So they start talking about this Rocketeer thing, and
Oh,
Doomcock
the
barely.
David. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Doomcock can't even like his racism and like sexism. You cannot even deny it at that point. He's like talking
Right.
about how they can't be black or a female, this, that, and the other thing. I
Rocketeer
don't-
is a Tuskegee Airman. Tuskegee Airmen are black airmen.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what Rocketeer is.
It's this ex Tuskegee Airman who becomes a superhero basically.
Oh, okay. So basically that he just outright flat says it that it can't be black and he can't be a female. And you just like it just starts bleeding through, and you can like see how much pent up frustration this guy has,
Oh my God.
or how much like his mother or father didn't love him enough. Clearly,
His mother
just
hated
all
him.
comes
That's why
out.
he hated.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, honestly. I wouldn't doubt it.
He has mommy
hides-
issues.
Yeah, he probably has mom issues. He probably has, been in some weird relationships himself.
Yeah.
And he takes it out on everybody else. Like he just sits here and talks about Star Wars and bitches and complains like a little fucking kid. Like he's literally like a little child.
Right.
And he dresses up in a Halloween costume while he does it. Like nothing
With a voice
screams.
modulator.
Yeah, nothing screams I have mental issues than his whole persona. It's
Or
sadly
I need
true.
attention. I need attention like he does. It's
Yeah.
like I need attention. Look at me. I'm
Yep.
saying all these things. You like these
For
this
more
group
than
of people like
yeah.
these things I'm saying.
Yes, technically, he had
Same
a
with the
title
whole
18
clan that he
months ago,
puts
19
together.
months
They're
ago,
all there just
but
to stroke his ego and stroke his Doomcock.
immediately Bob Iger came back in the strangest thing I've ever seen come back. I'm in charge again. I mean, imagine and that told me a few things. One, it told me Chapek isn't Iger's protege. He wasn't his choice. Otherwise, he would have let him go. And you run things on like Putin did, have his prime minister run things on his behalf, right? Because it's his
Isn't it
guy,
just
right? And so
Russian
he's like, this
communists?
guy, oh, it's not my guy. I'm going to come back in and take control. So that is an incredibly insulting thing to do. And it told me that it was not, this isn't his guy. Chapek is not Iger's guy. And so whose guy is he? He's the shareholders, guys. He's the rich hedge fund managers who are pissed off that the promised returns that their models told them they were going to get from various properties haven't materialized, right? And so they know the economics better than people watching this on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever. They know they were given projections by their internal box that said Lucasfilm was going to bring us this much money to our share stock price of our fund, and it didn't happen, right? So they had those conversations, said bring this guy in, which Iger didn't like, and then tried to
I am
interfere.
now
So the last
10%
year has
dumber,
been Bob Chapek
having
actually
since
trying
watched
to
this.
actually be the CEO, and
I
the
lost
only
brain
way he's been able
cells.
to do that is by creating media drama, in my opinion. I believe is the one responsible for all this, the Forbes, Hollywood
Now I feel
Reporter,
like
and
I need to
Atlantic
watch
articles that essentially
documentary.
took Kathleen Kennedy down. And I personally believe that he is the one behind this out of nowhere Frank Oz article that comes talking about the Muppets. Because to answer what you asked,
Look how much
he's in
math
a
he's
position where
on.
he's trying to actually take control of this company against an entire institution that doesn't even want him there. And Iger is trying to basically humiliate and get him out. And so the only way he can do that is to access what
I
you
guess in the
talked
trivia.
about, DOOMCOCK, which is public
No, it's a separate
outrage.
video, but they talk
So,
about it one last
Frank
time.
Oz
They
coming
talk
out
about
and saying,
getting
out of
into it.
nowhere,
Uh,
I just got to say, I was really mistreated by Disney over the last 10 years, which is Iger's people who are still there. And suddenly people
Right.
are talking about it. There's great personal offense. There's offense in Hollywood when people heard that. People who were inspired by Frank Oz to become filmmakers and to become storytellers, animators. Like, what the hell is this? And so he is, in my opinion, he's doing what is necessary, which is, the analogy is he's draining the swamp. He's bringing a spotlight onto this situation that
Look how
he's been
much
putting
meth
to where he's
he's
not
on.
allowed to be in charge.
Jesus.
So he's going to show the public what's really going on.
Look at his
in order
eyes.
for public out.
Look at them. Look at those eyes real quick. Look at those things. They are just pinned down. He's on so much meth that it's not even funny.
Outrage and shareholder outrage to accelerate the process of removing these bad apples, which are essentially the entire institution at this point. So we're blaming Bob Chapek. He's doing a guerrilla war.
Women are
He's not even the
evil.
CEO.
Right.
He's trying to do a guerrilla war to take the throne, and he's
they
enlisting
say
general
an apple a
populace.
day keeps the doctor away.
This is my opinion, DOOMCOCK.
I
I
think
believe
you ate too many
after
bad
the
apples.
failure of Shang-Chi, which I think is already
Yes,
set
no
in
doctor.
motion now with this below,
What are they talking about?
Black
The
Widow
failure of
returns we've already getting.
Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's
know.
doing pretty well.
It broke a
Yeah.
record for the Labor Day weekend box office.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting their information.
First night,
Reddit?
right? And Eternals. When you see that
Maybe
in
that's
motion, I think you're
unfortunate.
going to start seeing more articles suddenly appearing in the trades and in the news about how Kevin Feige isn't that great a
Cocaine
boss.
is a hell
And
of a
maybe
drug,
there's some
baby.
issue stuff that happened
Yes,
inside of
there
Marvel
has
that
been an
they
article
expressed,
saying
right?
that Kevin
And all those
Feige
are going to
is a
start getting
terrible
leaked out
boss and he
because
should be fired. There
Chapek
has been
is doing a
articles saying that,
guerrilla
yes.
media war to
Mhm.
actually be the
It's
guy.
not like
that
he
we're
was out
bringing
with
him
the
to be.
Shang-Chi
I do
cast
believe these
in
very
Hollywood
unique
going to every theater
are
yesterday.
Chapek instigated. The Forbes article, which is like what Forbes saying essentially that Disney mishandled Carano. The Atlantic article, which is saying Jon Favreau is a successor. What the hell is the Atlantic commenting on Star Wars? The Atlantic is a propaganda piece for the Hollywood elites to tell people
You
what to
guys
believe.
are
What's some of that?
propaganda.
And then the Guardian, I believe it
The
was,
Atlantic,
in
oh my
the
God.
UK suddenly coming out.
It's
Oh, by the way, I know
propaganda.
nobody's talking about Muppets, but here's a Muppet story about Frank Oz. What he is doing brilliantly, in my opinion, is that Chapek is outsmarting the entire Hollywood swamp, the cocktail party club, by using the very sources they wouldn't go to. Feige is going to use the trades, and he's going to use PR, and he's going to use, entertainment websites. He's not going to go to the Guardian or the Atlantic or even Forbes to make his case. This is Chapek taking the battle off the field of the Hollywood elites that don't want him there and putting it in the field of the general public and creating a growing uproar that there's something wrong with Disney.
Oh,
and
God.
this why Chapek better clean house, forcing him
my
to say,
God.
guys, I'm sorry. I know you don't want me to be the CEO, but I got to clean house because otherwise I'm going to be overthrown. So I'm going to have to fire all of you. right? He's getting the masses around
Yes,
him.
he's gonna
That's my
fire
view.
Kevin
I
Feige.
think this guy is a little bit of a crazy hero. I really do.
Join the DOOMCOCK Legion.
That's the end of
Become a channel member. Tons of exclusive vids, live streams, and custom emojis from the YouTube Overlord. Wow, I am now 25% more dumber. I see. I can't even form the sentence because that's how dumb I am now. I am now. I feel. I kind of like what this person. I feel nauseous. Oh man. So yeah, guys. Remember to support the channel. Become a member. Gain access to tons of exclusives, including private live streams. I am the Overlord from the center of the earth, sent back to tell you about pop culture and how Kathleen Kennedy is a demon sent from hell to leech upon the franchise of Star Wars. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Yep.